that around? Did everyone get to try it?
It's very tasty.
You like it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that doesn't have ayahuasca in it. That's just the that's just the cinnamon, licorice, ginger, garlic, and angelica. But when I apply it to my plants, sometimes I do add ayahuasca. I do add it. So that's really good for digestion, and it's the medicine. So when we apply that to the land, it kind of will, revitalize it, heal it, give it the nutrients that it needs. All those herbs are really good for digestion. They're all gonna. Oh, does anyone know what it's made out of?
Angelica,
Angelica, garlic, cinnamon, licorice, ginger, turmeric, option. But the idea is that you can do this with any herb. But
Did you put turmeric in that one?
no,
What did you use for alcohol? Everclear or
vodka.
There's like 1 to 1 on the weight.
Of what?
The herbs to the alcohol.
Oh, that's a good question. So the alcohol to the herbs for the weight. So yeah, I have a specific sheet for it, just not with me. It's like 189 grams to make a half-gallon batch for each, like to make 6 gallons total, but like in half-gallon jars, and you need about 13 liters of vodka, which is close to 6 gallons to do it. And then for sugar, so roots are fruits. So if you're fermenting roots, it's equal weight, like 1 to 1. Flowers, grasses, those types of things. New shoots, 1/3 to 1/2 the plant materials weights. You need these? Okay. So yeah, back to that one sheet.
So that's the most expensive one to make, right? I mean,
The most expensive
Yeah.
one.
the Oriental Herbal
for me,
Nutrient.
I bought a case of vodka and then I resold it because I decided I
It just
didn't
depends
want- I didn't
on-
want to mess up nothing. So I resold the vodka.
So it is kind of more expensive up front to make it, but also when you're making these solutions, you gotta think about your scale and your application. So if you're doing 30 gallons a week to spray and you have 1 acre, then you're using a half a cup each week. So you're then using, two cups a month. 1 to 1,000, so it's 4 milliliters per gallon. So,
If you make it, then can you have it 3 years later? Or 4 years
so the OHN will actually never go bad. It will actually, it ages like fine wine. The microbes in it get the particulates get smaller and finer and finer and finer as time goes on. And,
Like fine wine.
yeah, so it actually gets better, and you can actually dilute it more. So instead of 1 to 1,000, maybe 1 to 1,200 after a year. It gets stronger and more potent.
I need a building outside for everything.
Did that answer your question, or? So yeah, okay. So why did we talk about the fermented plant juice first? So the first thing you do is you ferment these herbs. So there's dry herbs and then there's wet herbs. So the dry herbs are cinnamon, licorice, angelica. The fresh herbs are the garlic and the ginger. The garlic and the ginger, you pound it. I use a wooden poi pounding board made out of kamani wood with a stone, a pohaku, and pound it. And then lomi in the sugar and ferment it. That's the wet herbs. You want to rehydrate the dry herbs 24 hours before. So you're gonna add a beer or a wine or some sort of beer or wine, typically a beer, and you'll rehydrate the herbs. You'll basically pour the the beer into the dry herbs and let it sit for 24 hours, and then they're going to become wet. And then you ferment them, just like the other wet herbs. So you rehydrate your dry herbs the day before, you ferment them all together.
Is that like a 1-to-1 beer?
It's kind of like, for the way it works is it's like 189 grams. So if you had 189 grams of cinnamon, it would roughly come up to about a third. You're gonna want to put beer to where you just gonna want to pour enough to where it's like it kind of covers it completely, and then you just let it sit, and then it's gonna soak it all up. So
And the sugar and the wet herbs is 1-to-1.
for roots. So for the roots, it's 1-to-1. Which is the ginger, or if you do turmeric, garlic is a root. You kind of do 1-to-1, and then the other ones you do kind of about 1/2.
You keep them each separate, like you would do ginger.
Yeah, in each individual jar. Yeah, like at home, they're all stored. Like I have my cinnamon tincture, I have my fermented tincture, I have my ayahuasca tincture. You know, all the different ones in different jars. But the first thing you do is you ferment it. That's that same process of the fermented plant juice. And instead of pouring, so we could pour it off, and what could we do if it was a fermented plant juice? We can make a vinegar. There's another thing we can do.
Hyper saturated with sugar.
Super saturate it, and then what could we do with that after the super saturation? After we use all that solution?
Foiling or
Oh,
something.
you got your ring in the bottom.
What's that?
You got your ring in the bottom for your boots.
Yeah. So you can utilize it for like a booch or something, or you could bake with it, or you could try something else with it, right? So those are the options. Or instead of pouring it off, you could tincture it. So fermentation is with a breathable lid. Tincturing, no oxygen. Closed lid, sealed lid. So if you're so after your 3 to 7 days, there'll be a bunch of juice, liquid in your fermentation. You're gonna open it up, and then you're gonna you're gonna basically fill it with vodka or whatever alcohol you're tincturing with, and you seal it airtight. Every day you open it up and you mix in your intention and love, stir it clockwise, and you do that for 2 weeks straight, and after 2 weeks you do your first extraction, where you then pour off 2/3 of the liquid, strain it off, store it in a separate container, then add more vodka, seal it, stir it every day for 2 weeks, continue tincturing. You can extract the herbs up to 5 times. If you do it in half-gallon jars with the 5 different herbs, you need 6 jars because it's 2 parts angelica. Every other herb is 1 part cinnamon, 1 part licorice, 1 part ginger, 1 part garlic, 2 parts angelica. If you want to remember that, it's like 2 parts, like angel power. That's kind of how I remember it. It's like angelica has like angel power, so you use more of it.
Do you sell those ingredients? Because I remember them being hard to find.
Do I sell them? No, I do not sell them anymore.
Great.
You can get them at like CG&F Hawaii. I think they sell it. Their prices went up.
Where?
They went up to like $50 for like herbs to make like 1 batch. I recently just ordered them on Amazon.
Where did you say you could get them locally?
CG&F Hawaii. If you go, yeah, it stands for Cho Global Natural Farming Hawaii. They have a website.